How's it going, my squids? Today we're going to be doing the Spacelords review. Before, I just basically was doing the, kind of just an overview of what it is and just kind of talking about how underrated it is. And I still stand by that it's underrated for sure, 100%. It's just, I want to do a review to give you guys the full, just the full everything. The goods, the bads, the god-awfuls. Like, I am going to be very harsh on this game. And the reason I'm going to be very harsh is because it has the potential to be amazing. And it already is amazing to a degree, but this game has just so much to offer right now with the fall of Mass Effect Andromeda. This game really just could shine bright as fuck. Alright, let's just get into it. So Spacelords is a sci-fi shooter, something on the lines of Mass Effect. You guys already know that if you watched my previous video. It almost has the same concept with the multiplayer, but with the difficulty of Dark Souls. I'm not kidding about that. This game is hard. It has very, very different mechanics, and there is actual PvP involved, which is super good, but we'll talk about that later on. This game was originally Raiders of the Lost Planet, and I honestly can't even remember what that game was like. I know I played it, but it was really, really bad, and it just turned into a repressed memory because it was just ungodly, and it was awful. After some time passed, it went free to play as Spacelords, which thank God, because Raiders was not going to work in any way, shape, or form. This is the perfect direction to take the game. It just, with the flop of Mass Effect Andromeda, this game actually takes the cake with the style of game that it's offering right here. You will not find anything better than Spacelords, in my opinion, of course, in terms of this genre. And if EA even wants to do another Mass Effect with a multiplayer, they should really hire these guys for the multiplayer, because I think they did a damn good job to a degree, and I think that, well, maybe they'd fuck it up, because if they bought out the studio, EA would somehow ruin it. But point is, these guys actually know what they're doing in terms of creating something on the lines of Mass Effect's multiplayer, so that's good. To open up with the pros, the cutscenes are very good for a free-to-play game. I've already said this. It's fucking good. You know, it's got this camera shake thing, which adds, you know, this dynamic whatever, very cinematic and blah 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 blah. It's super cool, and the voice acting again super good. It's something you don't see in free-to-play games. And just trying to speed past this because you guys already know this. But cutscenes, voice acting, top notch, 10 out of 10, no complaints. Thank God that they're really good, because I love all the voice actors. They did a wonderful job. Shout out to Constantine, double time, you doing it up. The combat mechanics are actually crazy fun, but it has issues, which we will go over later on. In terms of how the combat works, you have your standard weapons, ranging from sniper rifle to shotgun pistol, and everything in between, realistically. You've got your minigun boy, you've got drone boy, you've got aimbot lady, the list goes on. And let's talk about the hand-to-hand combat, because that's where this game really shines. So the way the melee combat works, you have a few options. You can punch your enemy into submission, which, depending on the class of enemy or antagonist, you will either do a simple finisher, which, you know, results in, like, I don't know, like a slap to the face or a knee to the gut or something on the lines of that, or you will get a fancier finisher, which equals like some crazy thing like Constantine just lifts up your opponent and he just breaks their neck. It's crazy looking. And then you can grapple, which you charge up for a moment and lunge at your enemy, and then do a kind of a light finisher, which again will result in like some kind of like slap, punch, whatever, or knee to the gut, and then you'll get that sort of finisher. Or you'll get a heavy finisher, which again, it'll result in something crazy looking or whatever. So it's the same concept, really. The only difference between the punch and the grapple is that there's counters to it, and one beats out the other, and we'll talk about that here right now. So with that kind of explained, I'm sure you're a little confused. You should kind of guess that it becomes this guessing game. Whoever guesses right normally will win the fight if you have your choice of whatever you're going to do. So if somebody, for example, throws a punch, you can dodge out of the way, and then you can counter punch them because there's recovery time, just like in any fighting game. We will say, if you guys have played any fighting game, you should know a little bit of frame data. You've got the startup, and then the active frames, and then the recovery frames. So it's the same concept here, except we don't necessarily have the frame data, at least I don't. So with that being said, once you dodge out of the way, they're recovering, and then you can start your combo. But once you start your combo, they can then dodge out of the way. So what you want to do is kind of predict the dodge. Sometimes you'll get these characters that, or not characters, these players that don't really know what the hell they're doing, so they'll just constantly punch you, and then they'll just never dodge. Or so once you dodge, then you can just punch them into submission, and then they just die. Sometimes you'll get the players that know how to dodge, but if you predict it, you can do like a punch, then grapple, and then because if they dodge on the second punch, then what'll happen is you'll do the grapple, and then you can easily kill them, because again, grapple beats a dodge. So you'll have to play this guessing game of garbage. Really, it's not garbage, I just say garbage a lot, but yeah, it's really good. It's intuitive. It's definitely something that I kind of like. I will say that there is a bit of a buggy problem with the priority, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell, because 9 times out of 10 I win. Sometimes I feel like I get beat out by garbage, but maybe that's just me being a salty bitch. It's probably the latter, but you know, it is what it is. Believe it or not, as I already said, this game has a pretty good concept for melee combat. As for the PvP though, I have nothing nice to say about it, other than it's a neat idea, but it needs a lot of work. As for the regular multiplayer, it's actually pretty good. I have really nothing bad to say about it, other than a couple things which we'll talk about in the cons, but this game has intuitive boss fights, great teamwork construction, and the characters almost all have a purpose in most missions. There are a few where some outshine the others, but you don't really see that too much once you actually level up and get some good guns, because then you can almost make any of the characters work. But again, I say that it happens where you will want to play somebody else other than that one character that you really like, just because you'll benefit more from it. You're most likely going to find yourself playing one of 4 characters early on between Herrick, Alicia, Lycus, and Constantine, which they are fairly balanced, and I say that carefully because there are issues. I just mean in terms of playing the game normally. Now let's talk about the cons, which is going to be just a lot of shit, so let's just jump into it. So just to get the most annoying thing out of the way, which is the PvP, it's not bad, right? It's just not. It's not bad. Being able to invade missions and make the main team have a hard time isn't a terrible idea. When you think about it, 4v1, the 4 most likely will always win on paper. That's just kind of what happens. And that's okay, because the antagonist's job is just to be annoying, slow them down, and if you win, well then woo. If you don't, woo. You still kind of get a decent amount of rewards, even if you lose as an antagonist, so it's not that big of a deal if you play antagonist and lose. But it's beyond poorly balanced. This game's level of difficulty can actually rival Dark Souls. I'm not kidding. I said that earlier, but I'm not kidding. It is on par with Dark Souls. This game is an ungodly amount of hard. The first mission is some crazy hentai squid fight where you destroy tentacles to advance to the next part, which then leads into a crazy more boss fight. It's like, what even? The tentacle part is not really that hard once you get the grasp of it, but if you're stuck playing Lycus or Alicia, you're gonna find yourself struggling extremely hard. And then not only that, if you fight against an antagonist, oh god, it's even worse. There is an overwhelming amount of enemies, and hardly any character within the 4 that are available at level 1 have wave clear. None of them can really deal with waves effectively. You have to do this really run and gun style thing where you just shoot or kill something, then run the fuck away. It's not good. Now, picture all I just said. You've got this whole army of enemies, right? And then now you have to deal with an antagonist, a person that has abilities that can kill you, that can one-shot you. With an antagonist, you now have to deal with 1,000,000 enemies plus a level 400 with an army of garbage behind him to distract you while he murders you from the shadows. Whether he be anybody. He could be anybody. It just doesn't matter. You have to effectively deal with this mob of garbage, plus now an enemy that basically equals an army of garbage. That is not okay. Honestly, it's only specific missions where the antagonist can really just ruin your day, so it's not exactly terrible, but with the daily missions and whatnot, you're kind of stuck playing these random ass missions that actually benefit the antagonist if you ever play antagonist, which hardly anybody plays antagonist because it's really hard to do and it can be very just tilting, losing over and over and over again, so obviously that's a problem in itself, but more or less, you hardly find any antagonists and they're only good on certain missions, but like I said, it's just an ungodly amount of just not balanced at all. But even between both sides, I feel as if you're an antagonist, you're just getting shit on constantly, and I feel like whenever an antagonist joins a mission that benefits them more, then the raiders are constantly getting shit on because there's just no counter. And it doesn't feel good losing to an antagonist, because no matter how it looks, they win no matter what. Their rewards are always going to be super good versus the raiders, in my opinion. I feel like an extra XP is fine. I would like a way more gold for my troubles. Like, I'm babysitting these idiots, which I'll talk about in a second here, and then on top of that, I have to fight off a level 80 million like fucking antagonist. You're out of your damn mind. On top of fighting someone way out of your league at level 1, there is this MMR system in place that automatically ups the difficulty, so you can't even choose if you want to have a casual experience. It's just go hard or go kill yourself, because you're never gonna get that gun you like because you're stuck fighting a level million whatever. The MMR system is beyond pointless because there's not enough players to actually like move. I don't know what the word is here, to kind of, what is it, mitigate? No, I guess to kind of balance out who fights what. I always feel like my team, I end up with like level 1s, level 10s, whatevers, and then when I fight an antagonist, it's just, oh god, they're like level 100 something, and I just, their guns are better, they have more gold, they have better characters. It's just, what am I supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? It's very unbalanced. I feel like there needs to be a very, very vast player base in order to have an MMR system in place, because no matter how you look at it, in fact, even the multiplayer, the PvP, there should not be any PvP right now because of the lack of the player base. I feel like it should be an option versus you're just forced to deal with it, because with how the player base is, it's just impossible to deal with, because you always end up fighting somebody way higher than you. And even in the background gameplay, you'll notice that this poor level 10 antagonist, he just wanted to play antagonist and try it out, and he ended up in a lobby with me level 41 and a level 228. How is that fair? That's not fair at all. I don't care if the level 228's MMR is only 20 something. That person has way more guns, better characters, etc. Why is he here? On top of that, once you get out of noob level, guess what you automatically become? The master of the noob dojo. And you can now be queued into missions as a mentor, where you're going to end up with extremely low levels. Like, it's actually guaranteed. Once you queue up for a mission, you have the chance to end up in a lobby where you get super low characters, super low players, whatever, and they have no idea what they're doing. And you just have to help them or not even help them, you have to carry them through the game. The word mentor does not mean carry them through the game. That's not mentor. They are not learning anything from me being a mentor. Me killing everything and doing the whole job is not teaching them jack shit. Why have this mentor system in place where you pair high levels with low levels when there's an MMR in place? First of all, that just doesn't make any damn sense at all. And on top of that, why are you pairing me with the level 1 if they're not gonna, they need to learn the game. They need to figure out how to deal with shit on their own. They can't, if I go in their game and I kill everything and just win the game for them, they didn't learn shit. They didn't learn the boss fight, they didn't learn the mechanics, they didn't learn anything. They just got a free ride to victory. That's not me mentoring them. That's me literally doing their job. That's not how this works. Not only that, I didn't sign up for that, alright? I didn't work my 9-to-5 fucking job at Walmart just to come home to babysit another fucking weirdo that has no idea how to do their job, right? I didn't just, what even? If you're gonna do this mentor system, right, which it offers a little bit of a reward if you do the mentor system, right, and not even if, you're gonna do it eventually. So you get about 20% XP bonus, which is cool and everything. Again, I prefer a shit ton more gold, but hey, whatever. That's not nearly enough for my troubles. Seriously, it's not. No matter how you look at it, this mentor system should be an option, not something that you are just thrown into and have to do. There's just no reason for it whatsoever. With how unbalanced the game is at the moment, it's completely just unnecessary to have a mentor system. It just doesn't make any sense. And even if it was balanced, again, it should be an option. The last thing I want to talk about is the character, like the 4 characters that you get lined up with, right? You've got Herrick, Constantine, Lycus, and Alicia. 2 of them, which is Lycus and Alicia, they have shotguns. Why? Why do 2 of the starting characters have shotguns? That throws the team comp balance out of whack. If somebody chooses Herrick and somebody chooses Constantine, why two shotguns don't do very well together. I've played the game long enough to realize that two shotguns don't work in a lot of missions. They just don't. One of them should have been swapped out for Shay or Mika at least, because I think their mid to long range fits perfectly well within the team composition more or less early on. And yes, I know that Shay unlocks at level 16. It's not that far, but there should be no reason that there is two shotgun characters. That just doesn't make any fucking sense at all. If you ask me, Alicia should be swapped out for Shay or Mika, just because fucking those two would honestly just make more sense. Alicia compared to Lycus has an overshield, or not really an overshield, he just has a frontal shield that blocks damage and allows him to rush down certain enemies, which is more beneficial than Alicia. Alicia has great mobility and whatnot, but as far as anything else, I don't think she offers nearly as much as what Lycus does. So having two shotgunners, I guess I would prefer Lycus. I don't really like playing him that much, but if I had to choose, I'd rather Lycus. It just throws the team comp out of whack, and I don't like it. It's not necessary. It's just crazy. No, thank you. And to end things off, this game is amazing. Even with its tremendous amount of cons, which put this video into like over 15 minutes, which I didn't want to do, Spacelords needs a chance. It really needs a chance. To be great, it needs just a chance. That's all I'm asking you guys, is give it a chance. If you don't like it, uninstall it. It's free to play. If you guys feel like handing over your wallet to this game and buying some cool skins, helping them get some fucking shit going so this game can be better than what it is, hey, I'll commend you guys for at least giving it a shot, alright? That's all I'm asking. Just give it a shot, because this game really can hold some attention, honestly, with the right stuff in place and things tuned up and whatnot. It really can be amazing. But anyway, that's enough with today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.